Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maddie and today we are doing my January reading wrap up. Yes, this video is way later than it should have been, but I traveled a lot during February, so I didn't really have time to actually sit down and film this video. And then I thought about doing my February and my January reading wrap up together, but I decided that was gonna be too long. And so here we are, like a month late, but it's fine. Since we're late, we're gonna go ahead and just get right into it. I read, how many books? I think I read 9 books in January. I had a very good reading month. I have them in the order that I read them in. I like to keep track of that. Because I'm weird. So the first 3 books that I read in January, I actually read on Kindle Unlimited, and the first one was The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and y'all, I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It is a romantasy, and it is between a vampire and a human, but the human is the daughter of the vampire king, adopted daughter. Basically, it kind of reminds me of like Vampires meet Hunger Games, because they're going into this trial for the Queen of Naxia. I can't remember the name of the games, but it kind of reminded me of that. It gave me that vibe. I love the 2 main characters. 5 stars, definitely. It is part of a series. Right now there's only 2 books. I can't remember how many books there's supposed to be, but yeah, I love that book. And I thought it was a great way to start the year. The second one I read was Never Lie by Frida McFadden. How many books? Oh my gosh, how many stars did I give this? Let me pull up my Goodreads. I remember I did like this book. I just can't remember how many stars I gave it. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. Some people said it was a little slow, but I liked it either way. I mean, I guess you could say it was a little slow, but I felt like I never knew what was gonna happen. Well, I kept thinking I knew what was gonna happen, and then I didn't get it right. So I really enjoyed it. I read it really quick. It was a fun read to read after reading such a long fantasy, and I really enjoyed that one. And that's also on Kindle Unlimited. The third book that I read, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which is the second book in the Crowns of Naxia, and I gave this 4 stars. I didn't love it quite as much as the first book. I felt like it was a little slow and just, I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil the first book. So, but yeah, I just felt like it was kind of slow, and I felt like it was, I just didn't love how the last book ended to make this book start the way it did. But I loved the first book. I just didn't love how, because of what happened, it made the plot of the second book. But it was still good. I loved the second half of the second book. I just didn't love the first half. And once you read it, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, but I still totally recommend it. I cannot wait. It's probably one of my favorite series. I can't wait till the 3rd book comes out. There is also a novella that is different people but happening at the same time, and I tried to read that. I never finished it. I should probably finish it, but I just couldn't get into it as much. But I just had other things I wanted to read too. So anyways, those are my first 3 books. Okay, my 4th book is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I really enjoyed this book. It was a 4-star book for me. It would have been 5 stars, but it drove me a little bit insane having to hear about how hot Jack was so many times. That is my biggest complaint. Let's see, it just felt like a little bit repetitive, which I didn't like. But basically, this is about Jack and Elsie, who are both, she is a theoretical physicist, and he is whatever the other type of physicist is. I'm not a science girly, I don't remember. But anyways, basically Elsie has a side job of being a fake girlfriend to people, and her favorite client is Jack's brother. So Jack thinks she's like a librarian or an elementary school teacher or something like that when she's with her favorite client. And then she gets her dream job interview as a theoretical physicist at, I want to say like MIT or something like that. I could be wrong. These are fuzzy details. And she gets the interview and Jack is there and he's like, wait a second, you're like a librarian. And she's like, I can explain. And he's like, no, you're lying to my brother. And then they go through this whole thing, and turns out they're actually like science enemies because of whatever type of scientist he is. And it's like a whole thing, and they go through it. And so it kind of feels like an enemies to lovers. And it was really good. It was so cute. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing. I thought this was a really good read, and definitely 4 stars. If I just had heard a little less about how hot Jack was, I mean, like, we got it, like, it would have been 5 stars. So there you go. That was a cute one. And eventually I might actually reread this book because I really loved this one, just like I loved The Love Hypothesis. Like, I just think they're very cute books. So there you go, 4 stars. See, I told you, it's a good reading month. My next book that I read is Morning Star by Pierce Brown. Ignore how this book looks. This book has been through a lot. This is actually my friend's book, and it's gotten things spilled on it, and it's just been through a lot. But I gave this book, I want to say, 3 stars. Yep, 3 stars. So this is part of the Red Rising trilogy, and I read this with my friend, and I really enjoyed Red Rising and The Golden Sun. Morning Star, I felt like I was just struggling to keep up. I didn't like some of the things that happened in this book, and I felt like there's just a lot going on, and maybe like my little brain just could not figure out what was happening, but I felt like I was having trouble imagining this book and stuff, and it just felt too long. I felt like it was dragged on. I could not, I don't know. I dragged this book, I finished it. I haven't picked up the next book in the series because it just took me so long to get through this one, and yeah, so 3 stars. I mean, it wasn't awful. I think it wrapped up a lot of things nicely. The plot twist at the end was insane, and I did really enjoy that, but I just did not love this book. And when I think about it, I think about how, oh my gosh, I still don't know what happened. So the next book is my favorite book that I read in January, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I gave this book 6 stars. I did a whole review on it on my channel, so if you want to check that out, I will link it down below or up here. I thought this book was amazing. If you don't know what this book is about, it follows Violet, who is our main character, and I really connected with Violet because even though it doesn't like specifically say it, she has hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is basically a connective tissue disorder, and it causes chronic pain and joint dislocations and things like that. So the fact that our character has this, and she was trained to be a scribe, and she is supposed to go to scribe school, and then her mom's like, nope, you're gonna become a dragon rider like the rest of our family, and she's like, wait a second, no thank you, and her mom said, don't care, you're going. And I loved this book because not only of that representation, but also just the dragons are hilarious, the banter is hilarious, I love the romance. This book, I think about this book all the time. I think about how I want my own dragon. I think it's wonderful and lovely and all things good, and I would recommend this book to anyone. So freaking good. 6 stars. 6 stars. And I also like that you can find podcasts that talk about this book. Just so good. Okay, so my next book that I read was on Kindle Unlimited, and it's The Forever Pact by Jamie Casey, and it's Bachelors of Paradise Valley book number 1. And I thought this book was so cute. I gave it 4 stars. I loved it because it was a dual point of view, and basically it follows our main character Pippa, who actually finds out that her fiance is cheating on her. So she leaves him and she goes out to, I want to say it's Montana, I think it's Montana, where she goes and sees her child best friend TJ, and she's like, hey TJ, what's up? You know, just got my heart broken, here I am. Thing is, her and TJ haven't seen each other in years, or talked in years. And she shows up on his doorstep and she's like, I just need to get away. And so, you know, it's childhood friends to lovers, but it really feels like childhood friends to strangers, to friends to lovers. And it was super good. I loved this book. It was clean. There was no spice in it. I love a clean romance. It was so cute. There's a cute goat and a cute dog, and it was just very, very funny. And I gave this 4 stars. I don't know if I said that or not, but it was just perfect. I loved it. It was so sweet. My next book that I read in January is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This follows our main character Pippa, who's doing a final project for her senior year, and she's actually going over a murder case that happened to a girl named Andy Bell in her town, and she's trying to prove that the person that they said did the murder did not. It's neat though because it does go between 3rd person and 1st person, so it reads the story in 3rd person, but then she has like her field notes or whatever in here, and that's in 1st person, and I did really like that. I just felt like it was a little slow. Like, I liked the first part and I liked the end, but the middle felt like it was kind of dragging a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it. It was a 3-star book. It wasn't like the worst book, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I'd recommend this to somebody. Like everybody else seems to respond to, like think so. I don't know. I just don't love it, but it was okay. It was okay. I keep thinking I might finish the series, but I'm not like in a rush to finish the series because I think this has 3 books in it. I think it's a trilogy. My final book of January is, to probably nobody's surprise, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I gave this book 5 stars. It would have been 6 stars in my mind if it wasn't for the ending. I hated the ending. It just was not the vibe in my opinion. It was weird. I don't know. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I can't really talk too much about this book without spoiling Fourth Wing, so I'm not going to. But this is the second book in the, what is this, Imperium series? Is that what it is? Whatever. I think everybody more knows that it's the Fourth Wing series, so it just follows like the second year of Violet in the Dragon Riding School, and yeah, kind of ties up what happened in the end of that book. And I just, like, I loved it. Some people thought it was very boring. It did have a lot of world building. I found it super interesting, but yeah, it was a little bit slower, but it was still really good. And I would have given it 6 stars if it didn't end the way that it did. There you go. All right, friends, that is all that I read in January. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it was so late. I literally should have had this up like a month ago, but we're just gonna pretend like I had it up a month ago, okay? And anyways, okay, well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.